Okay.
Ahorita por grabamos.
It's up and I can hear it. Flip it down. to roll. Okay. Good afternoon or early evening. Welcome to the council chambers at 10 West State Street. We are here for a regularly scheduled City of Marshalltown Council meeting, and today's date is April 22, 2024. The time's 5:30 p.m. We are called to order. With those who are able, join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Kell?
Here.
Ladyhoff?
Here.
Mitchell?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Schneider?
Here.
Thompson?
Here. Very good. Full house. And I have to read this proviso to everybody. The members of the public may make comments on any item that was not on the agenda during this time. Approach the mic, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or longer if I authorize longer. Direct your comments to the mayor and council as a whole, and the mayor and councilors shall not engage in discussion or debate on items raised by members of the public, and no action may be taken on those items so that we may comply with the open meetings laws. The microphone is open.
My name's Jim Lant, Jimmy Lee Lant, and you guys are getting to know me by now. I've been up here like 3 months, 3.5, 4 months. I got a question for you. I know you can't answer it probably, but I expect you to answer it. It's pretty simple. If I call the police department and they tell me it's a nuisance problem, then I call the nuisance officer. He tells me it's the police department. Who do I turn to? Who do I turn to? I just take things in my own hand, or what?
I know
I'm asking for guidance.
and I know you can ask for guidance. The one time that you don't get it is during public comment, because we aren't supposed to engage in a discussion, debate, or answer questions right now. And hang around after the meeting, I can answer the question. Text me, I can answer.
The reason I'm trying to do this, Mr. Mayor, is I want to get it put on record that in case something ever happens, I ask you in front of all these people up here for guidance. And I want it recorded, because I'm getting tired of this stuff, getting tired of it. I mean, you call these guys, they say it's the police department. You call the police department or talk to them, they say it's a nuisance officer. So Heather did guide me the other day. She said what I would do, I send an email to the police department, then the police department sent an email to her, then I sent an email, all three of you guys, including you. But you know what? That works fine if you got a computer, but if you don't have a computer, what do? I'm just telling you before somebody gets in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is John Warden. I live in Green Mountain, and I have a concern with the public library. I've had for the past year and a half. 18 months ago, I called for reducing funding of the library. I quickly realized that position was taking the low road. My intent was never to diminish the value of the library. I could point to 2 people in this room who either hate or think that the requested newspaper is terrible. We should thank them for demonstrating that here in the U.S., for the most part, opinion is tolerated. However, we are also free to criticize them and other like-minded individuals who use their hatred as a basis for prohibiting access to publications that people wish to consult in a public library to form opinions. Opinions both influenced by the biased fact-check industry and a wide range of intellectual material. It's fact that people beyond the city and county limits are watching the library mention common ground, and instead of seeking it in a meaningful way, enacts punitive policy and ignores legitimate attempts to compromise. In the 18-month-long dispute, library staff and board can consult with the city's attorney, the county attorney, the city's law firm, the state library, the Iowa Library Association, and the American Library Association. Patrons, on the other hand, have only statement of purpose, freedom to read, and the Library Bill of Rights policy to refer to. Mr. Mayor, will you step in and effect my publicly stated compromise? And I also want to thank this council for offering the possibility of asking for a few more minutes to speak. That's a good idea. I wish the library would do that too. Thank you.
The microphone is still open if anybody else would like to speak.
You knew there was. Hi, Jim Shaw, 522 North 2nd Street. Tonight I'm going to talk about the incident that happened in Marshalltown 2 weeks ago. I brought it up at the last council meeting, but I didn't have very few facts. It's about the 8-year-old that was bitten by a dog that was declared vicious and euthanized. I'm not sure everybody realizes just how serious this attack was. If this child's bite on the leg had been 8 or 10 inches higher and on the inside of the leg or nicked the inside of the leg, it might have severed his femoral artery and he'd have bled out in 2 minutes, resulting in his death. This was serious. We were very close to having a fatal dog attack. I've been telling you for close to a year now that we have a pit bull problem, only to have that claim refuted by Chief Tupper. I'm telling you again, we do have a pit bull problem. There were 10 pit bulls within a 5-block radius of my house, but that number has now increased to 12. We need to hope and pray we don't have another bite and that it's not worse. An issue I have with the Times Republican article are some comments made by Chief Tupper. He said the investigation is ongoing and they do not know why it bit. It didn't bite. It attacked. Continuing, Chief Tupper says that there have been incidents of dog biting after being teased or hurt. This seems to me like he's insinuating this might have been a provoked attack and the child's fault. It was not. He continues with the 40 bite statistic being an acceptable number for a city our size. This was a statistic that I brought up to the council in October of last year. It averaged 1 bite per week, so I highly doubt that with 8 more weeks to go, that there wasn't another dog bite. An example of a non-prevention incident happened during a town cleanup April 13th by Councilman Mitchell. He came upon loose 2 pit bulls. He proceeded to call the police. Their first question, are they vicious? Really? Are they vicious? How's he supposed to find out? Wait until they bite and take a chunk out of his leg? So yeah, I guess now they're vicious. After spotting 2, he also spotted a third one. One person, one day, seeing 3 loose dogs. I don't doubt that this happened because I had an identical thing happen to me. 2 loose pit bulls. I called the police. First question, are they vicious? I'm sure my answer was a little different than Mark's. I replied, I'm in my car. Let me get out. When you hear a pop, pop, they're not vicious anymore. The disturbing part of this was their lack of concern for me. Are you in your car? Are you on foot? If you're on foot, is there a safe place for you to go? Are they coming towards you? Back at all kinds of things rather than are they vicious? I'd like our police, our city council, and the city of Marshalltown to take a more proactive approach to our dog problem. Instead of a reaction after a bite, we should be trying to be proactive and prevent the bites from happening. There should not be one loose pit bull or any other dog running around. Based upon a citizen calling a loose dog, I think the police should at least try to talk to that owner, issue them a warning, and inform them that our dog ordinance has more severe penalties for loose dogs. Finally, we have the wrong mindset. 40 bites in a 10-month period of time is not acceptable. 1 bite is not acceptable.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing,
Excuse me.
Ray Mitchum, 1402 South Third Avenue, Marshalltown. Again, I do want to thank the council for allowing the expanded discussion concerning the library, as John brought up a few key things. Some of you may still remember the name of Joe Gaw. He was our city administrator for 4 months. He and I had a couple of unique confrontations just by chance. And I may be one of the few citizens in Marshalltown in 4 months that had these unique conversations. Creative retirement at the college, he and I had a nice formal or informal discussion about me being born and raised here, and he was glad to hear my approval of the city over the years. And then a few days later, it was the third Tuesday of the month, so guess where I was sitting at the city council or at the library meeting, and he walks in just to get acquainted with the library board. And so he recognizes me, and we have a little conversation, and then, of course, he finds out later in the meeting why I was there. And I'm sure he was wondering about that. And then, within this next month or two, he came back to the library board for the financial discussion. And so he sees me again there, and I said that I had heard some things about his hometown where he used to be the city manager himself in Corydon, or in a Red Hall area. And so we had a good little conversation before the library board meeting started. And then all of a sudden he sees why I'm there. And I'm sure he was confused. And I've shared this with many people, where a guy like that gets two different signals. I mean, here, a public library evidently is having some issues because the patrons aren't being addressed the way they should in an unbiased way. And I've been with John for 14 months on this. And here, for the first time, last Tuesday, they had then the statement of concern legally where it could be brought up. And guess what? It was a sham. Last Tuesday night, they wouldn't allow discussion, even though some of the information that they were sharing among the board was not correct. Here, there were some people there that could have corrected, and they didn't even have an interest in getting any correction. So I just want you to know, like I mentioned last time, it goes much deeper, and that's why I like Tanya. I like a lot of people on the board, but I guarantee you it goes deeper than the board. Thank you.
anyone else? Time to switch over to Mayor, Council, Administrator comments, but before calling upon the Councilor or Administrator or Mayor, let me instead have our acting Police Chief come and introduce the crew that you still have left, because I understand I just got the, I noticed that several had to leave in a hurry.
Yeah, they had to. I'm the fire chief, by the way.
What did I say? Police Chief, Fire Chief? Oh, my
Honorable
God.
Mayor and Council, my name is Christopher Cross. I'm the interim fire chief.
Interim Fire Chief, yeah, thank you.
I don't.
You know, take your kids to work day. We could
No,
flip.
boss, you wouldn't want that. I guarantee it. Well, it's my pleasure to be before you today to introduce you to a group of outstanding humans. And guys, team, could you come up, please? This team of five kind of pulled off a miraculous feat of intestinal fortitude and grit. How many floors did you step? 80? 85 floors of multiple buildings downtown. 85 floors of multiple buildings downtown with full turnout gear and air pack for time. And they beat all of the other fire departments that were participating in the event. It's quite a feat. I did this event when I was a firefighter, and they timed me with a calendar. So it's legit, and very, very proud, and you should be proud and feel safe, hopefully, in your beds at night that we're standing guard to take care of the citizens of Marshalltown. These guys are outstanding humans and outstanding firefighters. I've been around a lot of firefighters in my day, and these guys are not any joke at all. And I'm very, very proud to be on their team. So congratulations, boys.
Yeah, well,
Do you want comments at all from any of these guys? Or?
you know, I would love if anybody wants to hit the microphone. I'm assuming that my office building is the tallest one in the state. I'm assuming that's one of the ones he had to climb, right? The principal building, 801 Grand?
They don't, that's the building that they used to climb. Now they climb a series of 4 buildings
Got
in
it.
succession
Okay.
to equal what it would take to get to
Okay.
the top of the principal building.
I knew that in other years, this isn't the first time this crew has won this either.
No. We
These
have
have
a
been the
long
state
history
champions.
of
Yeah,
like dashing dreams
exactly. Okay,
of other fire departments.
anybody brave enough to hit the microphone here?
I was going to say some stuff, right? Talk about your.
What is there? Do you guys have questions?
We'd be happy to answer a couple quick questions.
How many teams competed this year?
That's a great question. I don't have the answer to. So our main goal last year we competed in the relay, which each person did one building. This year we all did all of it. And so there's different trophies for each of those types of events. Our main goal was to go down there and win, and we accomplished that. The other teams that competed that placed were Newton and Johnson Grimes. They get second and third place respectively, and they did extremely well too. But we were able to stick it out, and not as,
they weren't as good as us.
but it was a gut check. It's quite a lot of work. So
Hey, Alex.
yes.
How many years in a row have we done it?
2 years in a row, and last year we won the relay. This year we won the overall
Where do you train?
at the firehouse.
At the firehouse? Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Train went around duty. When they're on
Okay,
duty.
I thought I've seen you running up the step to the viaduct in the past. actually.
Usually we rappel down that. So
That's, okay.
Hey, I'd like to introduce just one more leader while he's in the building. This is Captain Don Barker. Don is the captain of B shift today, and his lieutenant Jason Johnson is out on a run with his crew, so they're out doing good work. So
Well, we've seen this year after year in the newspaper and that sort of thing. I thought it would be fun to invite the crew here to thank you and congratulate you
yeah,
for doing
absolutely.
this.
This group is the same group plus one from last year. In previous years, we've had other guys do it, but they kind of handed the torch to us and told us, "Don't come back to work if you don't win." So
Very good.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Alex,
yes,
can you tell everybody your name and then introduce the other 4 guys?
yeah, absolutely. I'm Alex Needham. This is Cody German. That's Luke Higgins, Cody Schmidt, and Tyler Homeyer.
Very good. Thank
Your Honor, thank you for the opportunity for my guys to come up and kind of crow a little bit. We're very, very proud of them. Thank you.
It's just cool. It really
Appreciate it.
is. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Good job, boys.
I didn't see anybody taking your picture.
Well, we can probably snap a picture outside.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'd love to see that too. Thank you. Very good. Oh, yeah, at the top of the stairs, not in front of the elevator, for God's sakes. For the next thing on the agenda, it's my pleasure to commend our city clerk of a number of years, Alicia Hunter. I'm a little embarrassed because Chief Tupper is here. I've already accused him of being the fire chief. And the other problem is that we stole Alicia from the police department a number of years ago in a very hotly contested race. I mean, there were really some good applicants for that job, and I got to be part of the team that interviewed her and hired her. And so let me, before giving her the certificate, read this to you. Alicia started in April 2004 as an administrative secretary at the police department, and those of you trying to do the math are figuring out she was about 13 at the time. Although she just had a birthday that ended in a 0. You can never keep me on script, as you know. And she was finishing one class at MCC when she took that job originally, at age 19, as I remember, actually. This was a very traditional secretarial role of answering phones, taking notes, scheduling appointments. Through the 16 years at the police department, she developed her position into a higher level that was part of the administrative leadership team. She was dealing with the budget, advancing technology, payroll, records, management, and she was very involved in that 2019 building project that makes all of us proud. Alicia worked with 3 different chiefs during her tenure at the PD. In August of 2020, she left the police department and took on the role as city clerk, and she's completed her classwork to be certified as a municipal clerk. I asked the chief to write up what this would be because I knew that if I had him take the microphone, it might take a little longer, and I can read faster than he would elaborate, and that's this. Alicia Hunter exemplifies professionalism, dependability, and dedication. Easily one of the best team members I've worked with over the last 32 years of public service. Alicia was always my go-to person when an important job needed to be done or when I needed sound advice. Alicia not only gets the job done, she always exceeded my expectations. She is someone who I can confide in. I can also rely on her for honest feedback, even when it's something I don't like hearing. Alicia cares about doing the right things right and never accepts anything less than her best. In the interview process that number of years ago, I had a pretty comfortable feeling that that was going to be true, and we're coming up on our 4-year anniversary of that interview, and I can say, Chief, you hit it right on the head. She has been that kind of a dependable, even keel person, and so we're happy to commend you for the 20 years of service, and you get a cheap plaque with a nice commendation. Thank you. All right, then I get to present a proclamation too. We're going to have to put the timer on me as I was joking up here. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for planting trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, modernizing the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for humanity. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality in business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, now there be resolved that I, Mayor Joel Greer of the city of Marshtown, do proclaim April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day. And in the city of Marshtown, we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations. It's my pleasure to present the proclamation to our Park and Rec Director, Jeff Hubbard, who is also very involved in the planting of trees. And we all know after that damn July 19 event here, it's been a real struggle to get our town looking better, and you're doing a nice job with it, Jeff. Thank you.
Trees Forever just planted 21 trees this weekend at Timber Creek Mega 10 and Little League, so
Very good.
we did a little bit.
Super. Thank you. Very good. Okay, time for comments by any of the councilors. Anybody want to speak?
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
2 weeks ago, we had Ward 1 cleanup. It went pretty good. We ended up with about three quarters of a dumpster left. I need to give a shout out to Cleaniac, was also on board. JBS, they sent out a whole cleaning crew that packaged up over 40 garbage bags full of garbage. And also Jake Rowley, who's always on hand for that kind of thing. So, well done, everyone.
Thank you. Anyone else?
If I may,
You may, Mr. Mitchell.
yeah, I would like to kudos that too. We had many people volunteer, and also I'd like to thank all the constituents of Marshalltown to stepping up and reporting code violations that they see because they're interested in their town. And I had emails with another city councilman this past couple of weeks, and well, I'll let him, if he wants to stand up and give the results. Otherwise, I can show the emails, and I'd be happy to if he doesn't want to stand up. Thank you.
Anyone else up here? Okay, I've got about three quick things then. Linda Clark was kind enough to hand me this letter just before we started the meeting here. At the very top of it says, Marshalltown City Council members need to hear from you. It's addressed to her at her address, and it is a solicitation for money that is not authorized by or requested by the city council. So if you get one of these in the mail, just know that we did not authorize it, and if you want to donate your money, you're on your own. You're not doing it to help the city. So wanted to point that out. I also was going to talk about Cleaniac over the weekend. We saw a lot of people, including counselors downtown, doing a cleanup of the downtown to the Central Business District was involved in that. There were a lot of people with a lot of trash bags on. It was pretty windy to do it, but it was fun to see. And then I saw our Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Ladohoff, also at the Carl Otter Group ribbon cutting this weekend. That group has put in at least $12 million into beautifying that part of the neighborhood and making Highway 14 look so much better when people are entering the town. And it was fun to be part of that ribbon cutting. Up to 45 new employees out there, and he was kind enough to do that on the northeast side of town, where when he first was looking at locating here, he was talking about going on the south end, and he did that as a personal favor to the city. And I know the newspaper reported that today, but at this meeting, I just wanted to give a shout out to Carl and his group for doing that, coming into town and giving us other options and hiring more people here. So that's all I had to say, and I think if nobody else has anything else, let's go on to the consent agenda. If anybody would like to move for approval of it.
So move, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Kell,
Yes.
Bodyhoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols, Schneider,
Yes.
Yes.
Thompson,
Very good, that carried, and in keeping with our current practice, we don't have to have all of those read because they were published, and that suffices. So let's go on to our next category, and that's resolutions. What's our first one of those?
Resolution 2024-82, accepting and awarding the bid for an irrigation system at the city's softball complex in the amount of $91,729.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a second? Very good. Discussion on this one.
Jeff Hubbard, Park and Rec Director. At your last March meeting, I asked you to give up $200,000 for that. I put out some bids, was able to get two of them back. Iowa Irrigation came in at the low bid. They were kind of the ones that actually helped us with the design of where everything should go. So we're kind of happy that they were the low bidder. They're going to be able to hopefully do some of the work end of May, June-ish. The work they're going to do won't impact play that much. They're going to sleet in the lines and heads and everything, so I think we're going to be able to continue to play throughout the summer and hopefully get water in it during the hottest parts of the year. So excited to see this move forward.
Very good. Thank you. Any comment up here?
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
Hey, Jeff, I guess I plead ignorance. Are we taking out the old system?
This
That's
bid
all
includes
part
the
of-
removal
I
of the
didn't
old.
look at the details,
Yep.
so
Removal of
Then
the
you
old
talked about-
installation of new Rainbird.
Okay.
We're also going to have control where we can just water the infields if we need to, a field at a time. We can control it with our phones and our apps and everything, so it's hopefully going to last the next 30 years.
So we're actually getting a lot more for our buck than we thought we were.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Right, thank you. Any other council comments? If not, anybody in the public like to comment on this one? If not, let's call the roll.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lolleyhoff.
Yes.
Very good, that resolution carried. And our next item.
Public hearing and resolution 2024-83 approving the fiscal year 24 to 28 capital improvement plan.
I'll declare the public hearing is open at 6 PM. Did you receive any written comments to the clerk's office?
No, Your Honor.
It's time for public comments, if any. Not seeing anybody jumping up to the microphone, we then go to staff comments, staff review.
Good evening, Diana Steiner, Finance Director. Well, back in January, we started bringing you this 5-year capital plan. We've drafted many versions, and we're now to the point where we're at our final version. So I've printed off many versions of this report. You can find things by funding source, by department, so hopefully it's user-friendly for everybody. Any
Thank you.
questions?
Then that takes us to the council comments or questions? Not seeing or hearing any, I'll declare the public hearing is closed at 6:01 PM, and we don't require a vote on this one, right?
Yes, we need to.
Oh, we do require a vote?
Yes, we need to pass the
Okay.
resolution.
Then, assuming we had a motion and
No,
second,
we
Move for
need a
approval,
motion.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
We need a
second.
motion.
And so was it Lolleyhoff and
Schneider.
Snyder, in that order? Very good. Okay, roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lolleyhoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Very good. And our next item.
Public hearing
That
and,
did carry, by the way.
public hearing and resolution 2024-84 adopting the budget amendment for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, and the transfers between funds.
Okay, public hearing is open now at 6:02 PM. You didn't get any written comments on this one, I'll bet.
No, Your Honor.
And public comments, anybody? Staff review on this one.
Diana Steiner, Finance Director. So last April, you adopted the budget, and since then, many things have transpired. So we're bringing forth the budget. It doesn't, the budget amendment does not increase property taxes at all. Some things that have happened during this year is we got a new lead grant. We've gotten many CDBG grants. We started the automated traffic enforcement. And so both the revenues and expenses have been adjusted for those. Mid-year, we had a change in the compensation plan for non-union employees. Does anybody have any questions?
That does take us to council comments or questions. Public hearing is closed at 6:03, and I'd entertain a motion on this one.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Second.
Roll call.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Lolleyhoff,
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Very good. That carried as well. And now, what's our next public hearing?
Public hearing and resolution 2024-85 adopting the budget and certifying taxes for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, and related transfers between funds.
Public hearing is open at 6:04 PM. Any written comments?
No, Your Honor.
And public comments? And staff review.
Diana Steiner, Finance Director. So this budget is the upcoming one that starts July 1st of 2024. The proposed tax levy of $16 for every $1,000 of taxable value is the same as this current fiscal year. The general fund, the revenues equal expenses. And we've incorporated the 5-year capital plan in this except for any new bonds that would need to be made.
Thank you. Council comments? Close the public hearing at 6:04 PM and entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Your Honor.
Roll call.
Hell?
Yes.
Lottie Huff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Very good. That carried as well. Next one.
Public hearing and resolution 2024-86, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 506 East Boone Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to Rosalba and Guano Luna.
The public hearing is open at 6:05 PM. Any written comments on this?
No, Your Honor.
Any public comments? And if not, then staff review on this one as well.
Yes, the city had 4 vacant lots for sale, and sealed bids were open on April 2nd. This public hearing is required as part of the sale process, and the high bid on this property was $5,000.
Staff comments, council comments after staff review. Anybody have any comments up here? If not, the public hearing is closed at 6:06 PM. Is there a motion to approve it?
So approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? Very good. Roll call.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Huff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Carried. Same song. Next verse is, what
Public
one?
hearing and resolution 2024-87, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 506 North 2nd Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to Faith Assembly of God.
Thank you. 6:06 is the start time for this public hearing, and you didn't receive any written comments, and yes, you kicked me. And it's time for public comments. We don't expect any. Staff review.
The high bid on this property was $2,500.
Don't expect any council comments on this one either. So let me declare the public hearing is closed at 6:06 PM. Is there a motion to approve this one?
Motion to approve, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Second.
Very good. Roll call.
Lottie Huff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Very good. That carried as well. Next one.
Public hearing and resolution 2024-88, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 101 East Brenner Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to Jose M. Gonzalez Gaza.
Public hearing is open at 6:07 PM. You didn't receive any written comments. Nobody wants to comment from the public, and so time for staff review.
The high bid on this property was $3,500.
Any questions by the council? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve this one.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Huff?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Very good. And one last public hearing. What's this one about?
Public hearing and resolution 2024-89, providing for the conveyance and transfer of title for 702 Swayze Street from the city of Marshalltown, Iowa to Reinvest 24 LLC.
Hearing is open at 6:08 PM. You didn't receive any written comments. The public doesn't want to make any comments, and time for staff review on this one.
The high bid on this property was $500.
Council comments or questions? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Very good. I guess I've been forgetting to say when the public hearing's closed, but let's call the roll.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kell?
Yes.
Lottie Huff?
Yes.
That carried as well. On to discussion items, and the first one is the general insurance policy changes and reserve recommendations. Who's taking the lead on this discussion?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
City has their insurance with a group called ICAP through our local agent. And this last year, probably in November, December, we all received notifications that there was going to be an approximately 30% increase in coverage. The end result was that Marshalltown's experience mod for various claims because of the tornado and derecho took that up higher than the 30% that other communities were able to sustain. With that same letter, there were a number of changes that the industry is taking on that ICAP is also adopting. The memo that I put into the council packet explains that the deductibles are now not for the entire plan, but based upon the individual facility and for things that are related to hail and to wind. There's going to be a minimum of a 2% deductible based upon the value on each of the buildings. And they are also breaking down other properties such as vehicles, and they would also sustain a 2% increase on the deductible per incident per vehicle. So you can see that that's going to be dramatically higher than what we've ever experienced before. Knock on wood that we don't have to experience it, but on the other hand, I feel that it's our due diligence that we should prepare for that. I included a sample of the impact based upon 3 buildings that the insurance company provided for us, and you can see that if we would have one event, it could cost as much as $500,000 just for the deductible. I do not feel that we are currently preparing for such a change, and I'm recommending that over at least the next 5 years, that the council designate a certain amount to go back towards a reserve. The reserve would, when it's not needed, of course, be invested and reinvested to increase the reserve amount without subsequent transfers. But because this is kind of nuanced to all communities within the state, I felt that we need to talk about it at the council table and decide what factors you would like to take into consideration so that we could bring a resolution of direction back to you at a subsequent meeting.
Thank you. Council comments first.
Your Honor?
Yes.
So Cindy, do you have any recommendations as to what we should do? I mean, I think that's what we're all looking for, is what is staff, what are some suggestions we can choose from?
One of the suggestions that I have in the memo is that the council would go for a $500,000 reserve, that it be broken into different areas. For example, your general government has different funding sources than your utilities would, and I believe that the utilities should be paying for their own deductible, and besides that, they have a higher exposure, so that would be kept as a separate reserve for the utilities. And then for general government, again, I think that $500,000 would be appropriate. And from general purchase tax or other revenue streams that we have would be decided at the council, decided by the council on an annual basis when we're going through budget and cash balances and so forth. I think would be the appropriate time to say this is another piece of the reserve. I also had discussions with Diana concerning your cash flow reserves, and if you would want those to be part of this, that I could see that being acceptable. However, as you know, I was here when we didn't have a cash reserve, so I really would be concerned about using the cash reserve in too many ways and not having a cash reserve left over. But on the other hand, that would just be a tool that you could consider.
Your Honor. So Cindy, that's what you just went into where my question was going. If something happens, another catastrophe, before we get this $500,000 cushion built up, legally, we can go to the taxpayers for a vote to pull that cash reserve, right?
I understand it's a public hearing, not a vote.
Okay, good. So legally, we could use that and then pay it back later, too.
As I recall and have reviewed, you have an ordinance right now that keeps it safer than just it being as a resolution, which would be easier for the council to move them around. So that sets up a little bit deeper rigor for the council before they would tap into that reserve.
What I don't see in your memo is, since we're starting at zero, are you recommending we seed it first, or are you recommending 5 years of $100,000?
If you're all in line with this, I would like to be able to bring a recommendation to the next council after I have a chance to talk to Diana.
For 100,000 per year for 5 years, not a bigger number to seed it first. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anybody else?
Your Honor,
Yes.
it's probably the appropriate question. Do we look to move away from self-funded insurance with such a dramatic increase in premiums and then the deductible going so high?
I knew that was coming. And the reason that I knew that is because I don't know about all of you, but I've certainly gotten a big hit on my own personal house and garage and everything else. And I also know that there are only 3 insurance companies that are current, and two of them are in a group for municipalities that are able to cover municipalities because we are so nuanced. And I don't think that you're going to find that going independently would give you the broad coverage, the complete coverage that I think we have with the 2 groups that are available. Those 2 groups are ICAP, of course. That was actually started by one of your prior city administrators in the 80s. And then the other one is through the Iowa Municipal Utility Association. And for many years, we were in that membership as well. But we converted back to ICAP, probably 15 or 16 years ago. And again, we've been very fortunate with the coverage that we've got. So I don't think you're going to get it. But on the other hand, if you want the diligence put into it, we could. It's just, that's your preference.
I had a discussion today with an insurance defense lawyer of 45 years who said that in the private industries, they're experiencing a 30% raise. And then I've had a personal experience of firing a 45-year client of mine who's an insurance company and looking to replace the insurance that we've had on vehicles in our homes and work comp and other things. And the first calls I made were to Farm Bureau and Grinnell Mutual, and they are not writing insurance for things like that right now. So it's getting harder to even be a consumer in this area.
Your Honor, one more follow-up, please.
Sure.
Cindy, tagging on what Councilman Kell is asking, ICAP's not shying away from natural disasters, obviously, right?
That's correct. The original notice that we got also had another section that talked about the way that we could accumulate those deductibles and how there would be almost an insurance bonus if it would hit higher benchmarks. And through the crying that we as members did, they decided to drop that clause. So they're working on our behalf, but this part of it, they're going to stay firm on it.
Other council comments?
Your Honor, if I may.
You may.
I'm interested in coming back with what you think is the smartest thing to do. I don't have a problem with using a combination, like you talked about, at least for the first 5 years, I think might be smart. But let's see what we can do there.
Again, I really think that we need to have an annual review, and doing it while you're looking at all the goals that you have for a budget would be the appropriate time to set that year's level of, but at least, in the resolution, we could say that our goal is to do 100,000 each year for 5 years.
Your Honor, I'm okay with Cindy coming back with something for us.
Anybody object to that? Because I think that's probably the consensus up here. I haven't asked for public comment, but yeah, why don't I do that?
I have one more comment, if I may.
Sure.
Along with that, from the funding perspective, I think it'd be a proper time for us to evaluate maybe our standard practices with vehicles, equipment, those type of things, leaving them out. Just a top-down review, just given the climate is so much different from an insurance perspective that what we had done in the past might not be the best practice moving forward.
Other council comments? Otherwise, we're open to public comment.
Lee Botter, 401 Orchard Drive. First of all, I want to say thank you, Cindy, for doing this. I am a licensed insurance agent, have been for 42 years. My specialty is on health, but I've done a lot of property casualty. Currently, I am the insurance liaison for a very large HOA, which is like a small city in Wisconsin. We have been seeing that. We're going from dollar amounts up to percentage of building values. We're looking right now at a 40% increase. And our board, which is like a council here, is choking right now, going, oh my gosh. So I would encourage you to do what Councilman Kell suggested. Definitely look at the best practices. Get your vehicles undercover if you can, okay? Work on the different buildings. I would encourage you, though, to look at more than 100,000 if you can. We will have catastrophic events again. We've had, not only did we have the tornado, we had a major hailstorm, and we had the derecho, all within the past 5 years. So I would encourage you to do so. Keep up the good work on that and build your reserves. Thank you.
I wonder if insurance covers locusts, because they're coming too, I think.
Your Honor, cicadas, not locusts.
Yeah, I know. Well, they look a lot alike. Actually, right after the derecho, the locusts were coming. They just stopped before they got this far west. Any other public comment on this one? Okay, well,
I'm here.
I'm sorry.
I'm just surprised, and I wanted to communicate that to you, that during this discussion, I haven't heard anything about the local option sales tax fund. That's all. Thanks.
Your surprise is noted. Anybody else? Sure.
Just a question, Tim Bradbury, 12 North 10th Avenue. Just a question, if we have major flooding, does that include that too then, or is that a separate insurance claim or problem there? You know, every so often we used to have floods quite a bit and then that slowed down, but is that a total separate
That's
thing
in
to
our
think
packet.
about?
That would be in our packet.
Anyone else?
Linda Clark, 306 South 2nd Avenue. And we in Marshalltown, and then actually the whole state of Iowa, we have major issues. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I tried to plan for myself, and I put money away. I had a stroke. A lot of people don't know that. I went through $20,000 of my retirement money before I got another job. And so one day, 1 minute, 1 hour, things can change. And it can happen to everybody. And it's happened all over the state. We all are in dire straits with finances. And thank you.
Mic is still open. If anybody else would like to speak. Not seeing anybody rising. I think staff has its direction, so let's see what we can come up with. And then on to the last one, that's sale of property in the urban renewal area number 4.
I seem to like to be the last one on the agenda. So this particular discussion started as we're trying to liquidate some of the properties and to encourage growth within the downtown area in particular. And we stumbled across a couple of state code issues that I've been working with Dorsey and Whitney on. That's your bond attorney. And they're going to be giving us not only information on this topic, but it's also blended into your revitalization program, which we're going to bring to you, I hope, next council meeting. For this particular one, the biggest focus that I wanted to bring out is that we should really be selling by state code the parcels so that they comply to the goal of the downtown district, urban renewal district, and that they be at market value. And the caveat for the market value issue is that we would recommend that we go to have a RFP for appraisal services, so that council can weigh that against what any proposals would be coming forward. I acknowledge that you've already asked for an RFP for best practice, and I brought that up to the attorney as well, and they said that's fine as long as we go through the adequate public hearings and so forth, which I drew out in the memo. So it's very doable, it's encouraged. We just need to make sure that we do things in the proper order and with the public information available that is required by state code. And in the memo, I put in, which code it was and all that kind of stuff too. But the big takeaway from tonight is giving us direction to do an RFP for the appraisal services, and then to go forward and distribute the RFP for best practices on some of the parcels that you've already discussed.
Okay, council comments on this one?
I'd support that. I mean, follow the rules or we'll end up in trouble.
Oh, you're no fun. Anybody else?
Your Honor, a question for Cindy, please.
Sure.
Cindy, so following the state rules of Scaredy Cat here, so so beyond that, every one of these lots, I'd have to look at the zoning plan. I don't know if the whole downtown zone's the same, but we would have to follow the rules of our current zoning code. So then what happens if we put this out for bid, RFP, and somebody wants the lot, but not specifically to do what we want? Are we rejecting all in that case? We'd have to.
You don't have
Oh.
to, and you don't have to take the highest bid either, because we're going to go under the best practices. So it is going to comply with the urban renewal plan, it will comply with our zoning, and it's going to be either for market value or can demonstrate that the value of the improvement is going to substantially generate more tax revenue and employment and so forth to offset the market value.
As far as I'm concerned, just getting them back on the tax rolls is a win,
Your Honor, if I may. Can we get some signage up in those lots and everything? It seems like it really encouraged the lots that we sold out and about when we started putting a sign in saying, hey, this is actually for sale.
There has been some interest already, and I think that we should get the appraisals first, because when people call in and say, well, what's the benchmark? What does the city want for this? I know we can't say that it's going to be whatever you decide to put in, like we're currently doing for some houses, which, by the way, are in compliance with your urban renewal plans in those areas where we have house sales. Alicia and I went through that. But we want to make sure that we have some interest and can give them some guidelines for how to put that RFP together. So the council can say, these are the things we're going to be looking for, and this is how we think we can achieve it. And then let them design from there. Kind of like pre-bid discussions are probably also going to happen.
Anyone else up here?
Your Honor, if there's no one else, one more question for Cindy.
Sure.
2 West Main, are we not taking down the poles and returning the lot? I thought that's what the agreement was when the wading pool the lap pool went out of there. I'm sorry, the ice rink. When the ice rink came down, I thought that lot was supposed to be returned to, leveled out. Where are we at with that?
I just Thursday or Friday last week asked who the contact person would be for that question, because I had the same question. Oh, there you are. That wasn't the name I was given.
So I don't know about the polls for sure. I think it's up to what we want to do up here. I'd personally say we just leave it for next winter, assuming the lot doesn't sell. But it is going to be reseeded for sure.
If I may. I believe the Main Street District was talking about doing something else with the poles, possibly putting up some canopy, the sail-type canopies, something like that, so it could still be used until the property was sold.
I know they're looking at maybe locating the band shell there too. Yeah.
So does that help us or hinder us selling it, Cindy?
That's fine. It'll just be an availability discussion that we need to have with whoever the proposal is with. And the other thing that I also asked about with that same conversation was whether or not it's being marketed currently, and it is, and there are some strings that may be holding a little bit. So this would foster that timing.
Other council comments? Otherwise, I'll open it up to the public. It's open to the public. And nobody from the public comments. Do you need more staff direction than you've gotten here?
Maybe a motion that we could go forward with the
I make the motion that we move forward with the appraisal RFP.
I'll second that.
Let's call the roll.
Lottie Hoff,
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Kell.
Yes.
Very good. That carried. Staff has its direction. We are adjourned at 6:31, and our clerk beat me again tonight. Sometimes when we get here, we discuss about how long this is going to go. She thought maybe 6:30. I thought 7. So only a minute off. All right. We're adjourned. Thank you. Tupper meant every word that he said. So do I.